2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements. Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions.
Remarks to the gentleman from South Carolina. I have very strong disagreement with a lot of the statements that Representative Omar has made. We've covered most of them. That some people did something is the one that really sticks in my craw pretty strongly. Raises a whole lot of flags for me. I think there are significant amount of justifications to raise.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Chip Roy just delivered a fiery speech that shook Congress to its core, exposing Ilhan Omar's radical record and sending shockwaves across Washington. Patriots, this could mark the end of Omar's political career. In this video, we break down every explosive moment and why this speech may change everything for the future of America.
Georgia seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A.1 of Rule 9, I seek recognition to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows.
Recognized.
Censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar took an oath of allegiance to the United States upon becoming a citizen, declaring, "I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen." Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements. Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions. Whereas Representative Omar assured the Somalians she spoke to, the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia. Whereas Representative Omar continued, "For as long as I am in U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interest of Somalia from inside the U.S. system." Whereas George Washington warned in his farewell address of 1796 to guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism, and further declared citizens by birth or choice of a common country, that country has a right to concentrate your affections. The name of American, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than any appellation derived from local discriminations. Whereas these statements by Representative Omar clearly violate the oath she took as an elected member of Congress to defend and protect the United States Constitution. Whereas Representative Omar has exhibited the treasonous tendencies George Washington warned about, and her actions must be condemned by all members of Congress who adhere to the oath they took upon assuming office. And whereas by openly admitting her efforts to advance Somalia's interest using her position as a United States representative, Representative Omar has revealed herself to be a foreign agent acting on behalf of a foreign government. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee of the Budget and the Committee on Education and the Workforce.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Appreciate the chairman. I do associate myself with the remarks of the gentleman from Kentucky, but also the gentleman from South Carolina, the gentleman from Pennsylvania, the gentlelady, all the remarks that we've been talking about over here. And I appreciate the spirit of the remarks from the gentleman from Colorado. Would note that we're here for a very obvious reason. The door was opened, and now we're dealing with that. And the door shouldn't have been opened. I'm reminded when I was in the Senate Judiciary Committee in 2005, and Miguel Estrada was being filibustered by the Democrat majority at the time. And we know why. We know this because a memo that said very specifically that he was being filibustered because he was an Hispanic conservative was found, but then shoved aside. We couldn't talk about it because it was found on a server, and they said, we shouldn't get it. There's a whole lot of backstory on that. But there was a lot of drama around that. There were 7 judges being held up: Priscilla Owen, Janice Rogers Brown, because she's black. That was all happening. We just sweep that aside. And you fast forward, and Bill Frist was being pressured to deploy the nuclear option. I remember being part of all those conversations, the Senate lawyer and the Judiciary Committee. Bill Frist decided not to deploy the nuclear option. In 2013, Harry Reid did deploy the nuclear option. 2017, then certain things changed at the United States Supreme Court. So now we live in that world. It is what it is. Now here we sit. The door was opened. I just went back and reread my speech on the floor because the gentleman, I hadn't done that yet. I went back and reread my speech on the floor. Not stand by every word of that speech. And in it, I referenced the fact that I had just a few months prior had been in agreement with some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle with respect to January 6th, which there's disagreements on our side of the aisle on some of that with respect to the votes at the time. And that I'd taken very strong disagreement and sought apology from our colleague on our side of the aisle about some of the remarks that were said, but felt that this was not the right path to go down. I stand by that. So here we sit. I could associate myself and do with all the remarks of the gentleman from South Carolina. I have very strong disagreement with a lot of the statements that Representative Omar has made. We've covered most of them. That some people did something is the one that really sticks in my craw pretty strongly. Raises a whole lot of flags for me. I think there are a significant amount of justifications.
Patriots, something historic just happened on the House floor. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Chip Roy unleashed one of the most fiery and unapologetic speeches we have ever witnessed in Congress, and it may have just ended Ilhan Omar's political career for good. Let's rewind a little. For years, Ilhan Omar has been one of the most controversial figures in Washington. She has mocked America's values, downplayed our greatest tragedies, and repeatedly aligned herself with ideas that weaken this country instead of strengthening it. While our soldiers fight and die for freedom, Omar has spent her time defending failed globalist agendas and attacking the very Constitution she swore an oath to protect. And the American people have had enough. This is why the moment you're about to see matters so much. Greene and Roy didn't just deliver a speech, they delivered a reckoning. A wake-up call. A declaration that America will no longer tolerate leaders who despise the very nation that gave them everything. Chip Roy stood tall and reminded America that we are not a nation built on apologies. We are a nation built on sacrifice, on courage, and on faith. He warned against the globalist mindset that Omar has championed, making it crystal clear, if you come to Congress to dismantle America, you'll be exposed. Then came Marjorie Taylor Greene, and let me tell you, she brought the fire. Point by point, she dismantled Omar's record. She exposed how Omar has consistently voted against policies that protect America's borders, how she's defended policies that coddle criminals instead of protecting families, and how she's worked harder for radical ideologies than for the people she represents. Greene's passion shook the room. Her words cut through the lies. She said what millions of Americans have been waiting to hear: enough is enough. And here's the key. This isn't just about speeches in Congress. This is about momentum. People across the country, Republicans, independents, even some Democrats, are realizing that Ilhan Omar doesn't represent American values. She represents a radical ideology that is out of touch with the everyday struggles of hardworking families. The truth is, Omar's career is hanging by a thread. Her own district is starting to turn against her. Voters are waking up. And what Greene and Roy did today was drive the final nail into the coffin. They gave the people permission to say what they've been feeling for years, that Omar has no place in the United States Congress. Mark my words, patriots, this was a turning point. The establishment is terrified, the radical left is scrambling, and America First conservatives are rising stronger than ever. This isn't just the end of Ilhan Omar's influence. It's the beginning of a new era where patriots take back Washington and fight for the soul of our nation. So, I want to hear from you. Do you believe Omar's days in Congress are numbered? And do you agree that Greene and Roy's fiery stand was exactly what America needed? Drop your comments below, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to Congress Breaking News. Together, we will keep exposing corruption, defending truth, and putting America first. Stay tuned, patriots. The fight is just getting started. YouTube description. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Chip Roy just delivered a fiery speech that shook Congress to its core, exposing Ilhan Omar's radical record and sending shockwaves across Washington. Patriots, this could mark the end of Omar's political career. In this video, we break down every explosive moment and why this speech may change everything for the future of America. Subscribe to Congress Breaking News for more unfiltered truth and raw reactions the mainstream media won't show you. Together, we are building a movement that puts America first.